I don't think anybody could have predicted that these people would take an airplane and slam it into the World Trade Center, take another one and slam it into the Pentagon.
Most complicated negotiations are predictable.
None of us predicted the end of the Cold War. All of us thought that the Soviet Union would be quite stable.
Will sanctions work and persuade the Iranians to negotiate and to forego a full nuclear weapons capacity? Will China be a cooperative actor in a global order designed by Americans and Europeans, or will they insist upon a new hegemonic vision of the world? These are questions of great serious import.
I think that it and we as social scientists can, but there certainly are problems, and I'm struck by the saying of the American baseball player from years ago, Yogi Berra, who said, "Prediction is difficult, especially about the future." And it's especially hard in international politics because we're trying to predict the behavior of actors on the basis of our theories, but actors have their own theories that often aren't so different from ours, and they have more knowledge often than we do. And if they're predicting the future the same way we are, they may do something differently.
So the question is, do scholars have a role to play here? And I think the answer is yes, from a couple points of view. Number one, we have independence, a certain degree of impartiality. Our voice is usefully heard, if only in contradistinction or in critique of the government predictions that are put forward and on which they tend to make policy. The second thing that makes this interesting and useful prediction is that many of our models make assumptions, the models we use to explain the past, that require or lend themselves, that is, to the logic that they can make predictions. That is, the way we structure these models is such that we are assuming they can make predictions by the ways in which we use them and the standards of evidence we use in order to explain the past. We assume that we have covered the relevant variables, let us say. We've omitted variable bias. And if these things are all actually true, then you can turn them around and make predictions with them.
What I'm going to try to do is explain to you quickly how to predict and illustrate it with some predictions about what Iran is going to do in the next couple of years. In order to predict effectively, we need to use science. And the reason that we need to use science is because then we can reproduce what we're doing. It's not just wisdom or guesswork. And if we can predict, then we can engineer the future.
The one part of it that would be useless and illegitimate would be an assumption that because this model lends itself in that direction, that we have actually captured the full complexity of reality, and that we are making a prediction on which reasonable people should be certain. I think that would be an incredible presumption that will bound to be proven wrong.
Who are the winners and who are the losers in Iran? Take a look at these guys. Over here, you can see this is the distribution of power in favor of civilian nuclear energy today. This is what that power block is predicted to be like by the late parts of 2010, early parts of 2011. Just about nobody supports research on weapons-grade fuel today. But by 2011, that gets to be a big block. And you put these two together, that's the controlling influence in Iran. Out here, today, there are a bunch of people, Ahmadinejad, for example, who would like not only to build a bomb, but test a bomb. That power disappears completely. Nobody supports that by 2011. These guys are all shrinking. The power is all drifting over here, so the outcome is going to be the weapons-grade fuel.
We live in an age of anxiety, a time of stress, and with all our sophistication, we are in fact the victims of our own technological strength. We are the victims of shock, of future shock.
We may be in a pre-war environment in terms of the increasing insecurity that the West has from the world's second largest economy, which is, by all appearances, directly involved in industrial espionage against Western multinational corporations. I think it's a very serious issue. And I think we have no idea how to respond to it at this point, but we will formulate a response. And I think that's going to cause a great deal of conflict. I do not believe that will cause a conventional war, but I think that the implications for the livelihood of millions and millions of people will be very significant.
That was fascinating. I love that you put it out there. I got very nervous halfway through the talk, though, just panicking whether you'd included in your model the possibility that putting this prediction out there might change the result. We've got about 800 people in Tehran who watch TED Talks.
I've thought about that, and since I've done a lot of work for the intelligence community, they've also pondered that. It would be a good thing if people paid more attention, took seriously, and engaged in the same sorts of calculations, because it would change things, but it would change things in two beneficial ways. It would hasten how quickly people arrive at an agreement, and so it would save everybody a lot of grief and time, and it would arrive at an agreement that everybody was happy with without having to manipulate them so much, which is basically what I do. I manipulate them. So it would be a good thing.
So you're kind of trying to say, people of Iran, this is your destiny. Let's go there.
Well, people of Iran, this is what many of you are going to evolve to want. And we could get there a lot sooner, and you would suffer a lot less trouble from economic sanctions, and we would suffer a lot less fear of the use of military force on our end, and the world would be a better place.
Here's hoping they hear it that way. Wow. Thank you very much, Bruce.
Thank you.